What is going on? Welcome on into a July trading recap. We got the green in the background because it was a very solid month. As we're looking at the screen right now, we have only traded for 3 weeks in the month of July. The last full week, I will not be around. I will be on a trip, so I will not be trading during that week. And so I figured it would be a good time to make this video before I leave, post it when I'm gone, so that I have a video to post. And also, it goes over the biggest takeaways from this past month. Not only is this meant to document how things have been going here, but also I want to share some of the biggest takeaways, biggest lessons from the data and from my experiences or my trades over this past month. So if I go back to the month of June, here is what the charts looked like. Let me go back here too. We really had a lot more trades. If you look at the top left, we had 74 total trades. And this is all tracked by TradeZella. It's paid, but it's a place that I think is awesome. You just upload your file from your broker. You have Webull, which is what I use. Send me the file, and then I upload it here, and they just do all the stuff for me, which is great. So 74 trades, and I was like, you know what? One of my biggest goals was to take about 30 or less trades in the month of July. And I thought, well, with pretty much taking an entire week and not trading for an entire week, I thought that was very doable. It would be cutting down on my average trades per day. And what I found was that if you look back at this data for the month of June, the days where I traded more were the bigger losses. And it wasn't like the losses were huge. It was they all added up. So what does that tell me? That tells me that there was something that wasn't aligned. Whether my strategy was not aligned with the market, something was off. So that was, if you recall back in that last video, that was one of the biggest things. And we pretty much did that. If you were to go now to this month, I go to July, everything is now pulled up as July. What do we got? We got 31 trades. 31 trades is technically over my 30 threshold. However, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. And the last day, Friday, there's 3 trades there. It really should have been 1 trade on the 21st here when I'm filming this video. The reason why, it was honestly just a flaw in the way that I managed the trade. It stopped me out, but realistically, like the option stopped me out, but the chart never should have stopped me out, which then made me get back in with a tight stop 2 times on the original trade. The original trade actually worked really nice. And if I pull it up, it was on Tesla. Here's the chart. The original trade actually worked really nice. We had this breakdown below this level, which was yesterday's low. I entered here. So my original entry was right here. And then I was going to stop out over the highs of that candle. So on the candle that broke to the downside, I was planning to stop out, which was right here. I ended up getting stopped out on the option because of decay and whatnot. I played next week contracts too. The option stopped me out on this candle, but I'm like, you know what? Technically speaking, we're still making lower highs. That shouldn't have stopped me out. So then I got back in, and the trade ended up panning out fine. It worked. We ended up getting a really nice move to the downside as I was looking for. And we never came back above that candle high, never got back above VWAP. Pretty much held below the 9 EMA, 10 EMA, if you will, if you want to use EMAs as, a momentum indicator as well. So that was why we had 3. I call it, it's going to be logged as 3, but really in my head, it's 1 trade. It was 1 stock, 1 level, 1 setup that I was looking for. And we also finished this last week, on a 5 for 5. Now, it's something I haven't done since, I want to say it was May. You have to go back, You'd have to go back to May, the first week of May, actually, for when I had a week where every single day was green, where I went 5 out of 5. That happened this past week here, this last week of July, or this, I guess, second to last full week of July, my last week of July trading. And the first 3 days were one and dones. The second day was 2, the fourth day was 2. Which was actually my largest green day, I believe, of the month, or at least tied for the largest green day of the month. Just 2 trades, 2 winners, simple. And then the last day was technically 3, but really it's 1. So it was kind of in line with the sizing and the winning size that I would have on just one and dones. So all in all, can't complain. The biggest flaw downside was on Thursday, the 13th. And then Friday the 14th, you can see that I had 7 trades and then 4 trades. The thing about those 2 days is that I had really just the system wasn't aligning, wasn't working. More so a choppy day, not momentum filled day. And it was me starting to recognize, wait a second, I think we're starting to see a rotation out of large cap tech, and those are slowing down. The moves are kind of chopping up. We've got earnings coming up in a couple of weeks, from that time frame. And it was like, maybe this is not where the momentum's going to be. And so then I looked over to the Dow, and then I even actually looked over to Tesla on Thursday, Friday this week, post earnings. So didn't touch Tesla until after earnings, and then it had better momentum actually to the downside. So that's why there was opportunities there. These were all trades, mostly longs early, and then I think there are some shorts here later on the week or later on in the month, as we started to see some downside, but nothing insane. Most of these trades were longs. We look at the win rate, which is actually awesome. If I have a win rate at 60+%, that's awesome. The average win-loss per trade is up to 1.14. I believe last month, if I can double check, I believe that number was actually below 1. Yeah, it was 0.94, meaning that my average loser was bigger than my average winner, which is not what you want to see. So that's good. And then my profit factor is 1.81, just tells you if you're profitable or not. If it's above 1, you're profitable. If I were to go back to that month of May, I believe the month of May was my biggest month. So if you pull this up, May, you'll see a profit factor of 2.53. So that was technically the biggest month. This month wasn't as big. Maybe it could have been if I trade next week and whatnot, but who knows if momentum would be the same and if I would, keep going at the rate I'm going. That was just the best month that I've had so far this year. But this is a close second, I will say. This is definitely a close second. So the biggest takeaways that I'm going to kind of play off of is really, again, waiting for, it seems a cliche, waiting for the setup that you're looking for instead of trying to force setup. So many times I would be looking for stuff and saying like, well, I got to do something, so let me just look for something here and find a play that looks good, that fits what I think I'm looking for. And then I end up not taking good trades. And so, for example, I wait for the 1 hour to give me an opportunity. In this case, here's Tesla, right? I was looking today and I'm like, there's nothing else. Outside of Tesla, I was like, there is nothing that I like. There is no stock that's even close to one of these levels. And I'm like, okay, Tesla, if you start to get down towards the lows of yesterday, now you're giving me an opportunity on the 1 hour chart to show me downside, bounce, weak bounce, and then break back to the downside, momentum to the downside. That's where I want to play. Like, I want to play on the beginning of this move. And if it is big, then you're going to be there and you're going to have a nice move. And that's kind of what we had today. But if Tesla didn't have that, if Tesla was, let's say, up in here, am I interested? No, because we're so far away from the high. We'd be pretty far away from the low of yesterday. We're in the middle of this range. I don't care about that. I want something that's nearing the lower end of the recent range or the higher end of the recent range to play a long or short for momentum if the range breaks. And we're waiting for the range break to give us that signal. So that's kind of in a nutshell all I really focused on this month. I felt like I kind of fell out of that a little bit last week, which believe it or not was my first red week last week of since May. And I've been pulling money out of my Webull account every single week. We have profits. So let's say, I make $500 in 1 week. I'll pull out like 400. So I'll let it compound a little bit, but I'm also locking in and taking the gains, a good chunk of the gains as well. Because at the end of the day, to me, it doesn't really matter right now. That's not like a huge, I'm not trying to compound that portfolio insane, because I think it's much better for my mental, health in terms of the longevity here to get used to the sizing instead of trying to go push and like play percentages. Because then if you're playing percentages, that's fine, but the numbers will get to your head. And they have gone to my head in the past. And so I want to avoid that. And so I want to slowly scale up my position sizing. And I think that's the plan as we move into now August and then eventually the fall, is to slowly up that size. Because we've proven now through the spring, the end of the spring, really from April through now May, really good. June was not great, but it was green. So it was like I was kind of battling some inner issues, but I was able to come out on the plus side. Great. July, I had more of a busy month work-wise outside of this, and it was good. So I can't complain with these results. And I think as we move into August, September, October, we can start to feel more comfortable upping the sizing, which gets to be a lot of fun, because if we keep these numbers win rates, profit factors, all that stuff, which is nothing like we're not sitting here making 99% winners, saying that we're the best. No, I lose a lot. I lose a crap ton. But it's just coming out just with a slight edge. I mean, it could get a lot more fun when we start upping the sizing. So that is the plan going forward. This video, hopefully it was helpful in some way, but I also want to use it to document kind of how we're going or how things are going. I'm still here. And by the way, we had the first red week in months, followed by a 5 out of 5 green week. I don't know, but that's pretty good. That's some good stuff. So I'm super excited. I'm super happy with the numbers. I'm super happy with the results so far. And I think it's a good time to head off to the beach. Any links, resources down below in the description box, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.